Go.
Good morning. Most of you know who I am. I'm David Price. I'm a gun builder, done it most of my life, and my specialty is building swivel breech flintlock rifles. I've had so many requests for them that I decided to turn out a kit. And that's what we have here, is my swivel breech flintlock rifle kit. And what we're going to do with this video is we're going to take one of the kits, just as I deliver it to my customer, and we're going to finish it. So it'll serve as a tutorial that you can follow as you build your own. So we'll just take this one right here, which is just the way you will get yours. The wooden patch box, the door, the sliding door, has already been cut in. The lock is inlet. The side plate is inlet. The trigger is inlet. The trigger guard is attached. You'll have to drill a hole here to pin the rear of that, just like on any rifle. The tang is all inlet. The swivel plates are all in and working. As you can see, all you do is press the lever and swivel it, and it's ready. The lock is working. We just have to put the frozen spring on that. And the front panels are on. This is the side without the loading stick groove. And on this side, the ramrod groove has already been cut. And this, where the lower thimble will go, is partially inlet. And we're going to show you how to finish that off. And where the other thimbles are, they're partially inlet. Take very, very little to do this. The holes are drilled through the barrel, between the barrels, for the thimbles to go on, so there's no holes to drill. The dovetails are already cut for the sights. The only thing that you will have to do when we put the nose cap on, after you fit the nose cap, there'll be one hole to drill and to tap with for a 440 screw. And other than that, the wood screws for the butt plate. So the first thing that we're going to do is to put the butt plate on. And we'll start that right now. Alright, this is my workbench, as you can see. It looks cluttered, but everything that's here is right at my fingertips. When I want it, I can reach over and get it. It looks like there's a clutter here that you'd never know what was there, but I know where everything is and no problem to reach it. My wife says I can't find my socks in my sock drawer, but I can find any tool in my shop. And that's true. But the bench itself, you want a good, heavy, sturdy bench. And on my bench, I can walk around both sides of it, which is very important. Most of you probably won't have that luxury. You'll have a bench with a vise on one side, and you can work with that. But if you want the ultimate, it's nice to have both sides. The other thing is, when I put a rifle in any rifle, I can match it up. I have a sliding pad here, so when I put the rifle in, I don't like that hanging over unsupported, so I just bring that up. Now it's supported. If I swivel this sideways to work on this side of it, I can just swivel that up, and there it is, right in front of me, a good height, so that I don't have to be bending down, and it makes it a lot easier. But right now, we're going to work on the butt plate. The other thing that is very, very important is a light. Something that's on a movable stand so that you can move it around everywhere you want. I think this is probably the most valuable tool that you have building a gun. get the light coming from the side. When it's time to do the carving, or if I need to do some very fine smoothing, I'll shut the overhead lights off and just use the 160 or 75 watt bulb. So we're all set to start to put the butt plate on here, but briefly I will say, sharpen all your tools before you get started, so you don't have to stop and sharpen any one particular tool. If you get them all sharpened up before you get started, it's a lot less aggravating when you reach over to get a tool and put it down. You can start to cut with it immediately. Good. Okay, that takes care of sharpening up the tools. I've just finished sharpening all the tools I think that I'll be using, so I won't have to stop in the middle of this. And I'm using my sharpening system that a lot of you have seen. I demonstrate this down at Dixon's, and I am going to make a video of the sharpening system probably sometime after this one, because so many people have asked about it. It really is a wonderful way to sharpen, and the tools are just surgically sharp, and that's really what you need in order to do this kind of work. So let's get started. Here is, as you can see, it's got brass hardware, and I offer these with brass or steel hardware. Now the castings are all top of the line. These are gloss wax castings, and they're very, very nice quality. And take that tag off. And the first thing you want to do with this is you want to make sure that the inside edge, there's no bumps. That's one of the beauties with the swivel. You can just swivel that up out of the way. But you just simply take a flat file and make sure that you get any of those bumps off of there. That could hold that from going up tight. And the face of it is the same thing. As I said, these are pretty nice just the way they are. But it just takes a very little to do them. Alright, now, next thing, you want to match it up. Now you can see that these stocks are pre-cut, and they're pre-cut very, very close. So you take your butt plate and put it on here and look at it on the side, see how it fits. Now as you can see, that's a pretty nice, that's pretty close just the way it is. But you can see, there is a gap there. So we're going to have to make that fit perfectly. So what we will do, I'm going to move this light right down this way. This is what I mean about having a movable light, so that we can see the end. And we're going to just lightly put some blackening on here. This is a new bottle, and it's very easy to overdo it when the bottle is new, but it doesn't take very much to do it. This is just a Q-tip. Now, we'll just very carefully lay this on here. Give it a tap like that. See what we've got. Now, as you can see, I'm going to move this back one more. As you can see, it's touching here, here, in this corner, and it's touching down here. Now, if we move it in here, it's going to close up the gap that's in here, so I think that's what the very first thing we'll do. And there's a number of tools you can use for that. If you have a big gap, you can use, if you had to take a 1/16 off of there, you could use a big chisel and cut it with the chisel. But this is so close, we're not going to have to do that. So I'm going to use a very coarse file, and it has a good coarse edge, which we can square that front off with. You can see that blackening disappearing on that spot where it was touching. Now the end down here, we've got a little bump on here that actually won't touch, but I don't like it on there, so I'm going to take it off. See, it comes off very, very quickly when you've got a good sharp tool, whether it's a file or a chisel or a gouge. They've got to be sharp. Now we'll try that again. No matter how careful you are with this stuff, it'll get on your fingers. So I keep a container of that fast orange there to clean my hands, and I clean my hands very often because I don't like the stock to get all black. Plus it doesn't hurt anything because most of it would be sanded off. It's just the idea of it. Okay, now you see we've got this corner touching the hardest, and that's keeping it from touching here. So now what we've got to do is file any place that's got the blackening on it to get it closer. We're getting very close here now. Now you can see where there's just a little space there. It's just barely touching here, so it's looking pretty good. I'm going to take a little bit more off of here. This part here is pretty consistent, so that's fitting very nicely there. But I'm going to take a little more off the very lower part here, and that should make it very, very close the next time we test it. The screws will bring it in. We'll close the gap somewhat with just the spring that's in the steel, but you don't want to depend on that. You want to get it as close as you possibly can before you put the screws in. If you get it that way, then you put the screws on it, and that brings it in nice and tight. Then you're going to have a nice clean fit. There's nothing worse than looking at somebody's beautiful rifle, and you look and you see this ugly crack between the butt plate and the end of the wood. And it's really one of the easier jobs to do. It just takes time. It's a little harder to do this and stay out of the way of the camera. But we've only been, I doubt if we've been a half an hour, have we, Lily?
Yeah.
Lily is my granddaughter. She's taking these pictures for me. I don't know what I'd do without her. Alright, let's try that. Yeah, we're looking good. We're looking very good. The only place right here is, yeah, so we're going to take a little bit more off of this. Alright, I think this last time now should be close enough to put the screws in, and the screws will pull it in a little tighter and give us even better marks. So we'll go and drill the holes and get these screws ready to go in. Alright, as you can see, the butt plates are longer than the stock. So what we want the screw, the bottom screw in the butt plate, to go up an inch from the bottom of the stock, not the bottom of the butt plate. So that screw will go in right there. Not terribly critical to get that within a 1/16 of an inch or anything like that, but you want it high enough so that you don't get into the grain, because this bottom edge, if the grain is running all in the same direction, you're very liable to snap it off. So you want to get it up there high enough that it's got a good bite in the wood, but still not low enough to break that piece off. The top one, I like to put an inch back from the butt, from where the end of the trigger guard is. So I'll put a little mark there, and we'll go ahead and drill those holes. I've measured the screw with the drill index to make sure that the screw is right. You want it to go in easily, but you don't want it to jiggle. So that's why I have the glove on. Good. All right, we're all ready to drill the holes into the wood. Now we've used the number 12 drill, which is the shaft on the wood screw, and you want that a good tight fit on that. So it's very important. Now all I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to make a dimple. I want to make sure that is in good and tight. Put this as straight as I can see. And make a little dimple, just enough that I can see. Because this screw, you really want to get perfectly plumb with the flat on here and on the top of your butt plate, or when you countersink your screw in, it'll never go right. So I've measured this high-tech piece of wood. I just cut the holes in there with the drill press to make sure that they were plumb. And I let the drill stick out just enough to take care of the width of the shaft here. And that's as deep as we're going to go with that. And then we'll change the drill and make a smaller drill. Now we've got the hole there. We'll put that down tight. Make sure. Okay, we've got the shaft in. Now I'm going to use a number 29 drill and pretty much do the same thing. Now we just use a different hole here. Put that in the hole. Put the block down, make sure she's square, both sides. She's done. Now I purposely haven't countersunk the hole in the butt plate yet, because I want to use that guide of the extra metal on there. This is a better screwdriver. First time you put it in, it'll go in kind of tight, but the next time it won't. And if it does, you can just rub it against the candle and the wax on it will. Now we're looking pretty tight. Now we're going to use this to blacken that again after we get both drills in. Okay, well, make sure your block is touching good and it's plumb. And all we've done there is just drilled for the shaft of the screw. Now we'll switch to our bigger drill. Bigger than that. Did I put that other screw over there? Thread hole for this now. And again, set up your block of wood. Just screw in so that you don't over drill a hole. Down here, make sure that it's touching top and bottom and it's plumb. Done. We know it's plumb. Now, as I said before, if they go in a little hard, you just take and rub a little wax on it like that. The other one squeaked when it was going. This one's going in nice and quiet. Okay, perfectly tight on this side. On this side here we've got just a little space at the top. So we're going to take that off now and take off where the blackening is. And that should take care of that. That should be the last time. Alright, as you can see, this side is next thing to perfect. The other side has just got a little bit of a gap. Step around that side, Lou. But that's acceptable at this point. It's touching all the way down here. Just a little place right here. So what I'm going to do in a little bit is to peen the edge, which closes the gap, and it'll make it an absolute perfect watertight fit. But I'll show you that when we get to it. Alright, we've got the butt plate on now satisfactory for this to this point. We're going to work on a little bit more after we get the wood shaved down a little. But you want to make sure that your butt plate is on there in line with the stock so that it's not on cock one way or the other. And an easy way to do that, I go to the top of the comb, put two little pencil marks, 1/4 inch apart, put the straight edge on it, put the straight edge on the ridge that's on the butt plate, and connect it up there, and then I'm going to go on the other side. Do the other side the same way. Now you know that the butt plate is aiming right towards the center of the comb. And these lines, I like to put lines on in a lot of places in the stock because it keeps you aware of the where the edges should be and what you're aiming for. Now you can see that's about a 32nd higher than the butt plate now, so we will be taking this all down. But I like to do that in steps. But for now, the butt plate is on. The next thing we're going to do is to start shaping the stock from the tang down. Oh, there's some black. Time to wash the hands again.